Right, got the engine out with 1490 now. Got it split. That was quite easy once everything was off. Yeah, very easy. Just 4 bolts on the top here, and 3 bolts down the side here, and 4 bolts underneath. 2 hydraulic suction pipe, hydraulic pressure pipe, and one of the clutch, that's a normal clutch one, there's a spring off there and that's PTO clutch there, and then that's it. Literally I'll put it on this, it's a hydraulic jack type things on wheels, and just put it on some boards and just rolled it back, and that was it split. So it's quite a good little thing. It's what the old man used to split his Ford. Yeah, so the engine's out. As you can see, there's not a lot to it. Yeah, so there's the hydraulic pump coupling. Then I had the front timing case off, so I had to have the pulley off there. Then just the bolts along here. And there's 2 long bolts at either end, but you don't think it's there, it's these bolts. And that's it. I just got some lifting eyes on some of the head studs, and got it on the teleporter to lift it out. So I've got the injection pump off, got the timing gear, the power steering pump off, and the gear goes off with the steering pump. When the injection pump, you just take the pulley off. I did time it all up before I took the injection pump off, so I know that's timed correctly. Then I've got the pistons out. 1 and 2 don't look too bad, but 3 and 4 are really badly scored, and that's what would have been the knocking. So 3 and 4 got bad pistons as well as bad shells, and 1 and 2 shells aren't too bad. So obviously the back of the engines took all the brunt of the lack of decent quality oil going around. You can see down the filter hole, that's quite gunged up as well. Yeah, so there is quite a bit of a lip on the bores, so I'll be having the crank ground and the engine board out, new pistons, and obviously all bearings and everything. And whilst that's been done, I'm going to set about painting it while it's in bits, just so I can get it's a better finish really. Paint all the engine block up separately, and clean all the individual components up and paint them, so it just looks a lot better rather than everything just been blasted over and painting it. Just it's not. It's how they did it in the factory, but I don't really like that finish. So before I split it all, I did degrease it all as well, so it is degreased, ready for painting. I did notice also when I picked the front end up, the front kingpins are very worn. As you can see, they should be tight on there, and they're all the way up there, and it's worn down here, both sides. So I don't know whether I'm going to get a new stub axles, or a new axle, or a whole new axle across the front, because there is also track rod ends are very worn, and there is also a lot of play where the steering. Yeah, as I was saying, with this bracket where the steering ram sits in, there's an awful lot of slop in there. So I reckon take the axle off, so I can have a look at these kingpins more properly, where I can rebuild them or get new ones, or what. I'll have to have a look. But I can have a look at that, see whether I can put bushes in there, or if there's bushes in there already, I don't know. I'll have to have a look at that. And that's it really for the front, apart from the axle, and put the engine back and everything. The clutch, it's actually been done fairly recently. There's still writing on the pressure plate down there, so it's not that old at all. So that's something that was a good find. Yeah, this bearing doesn't feel too. It feels a little bit rumbly, so I'll probably have a look at that. And back end wise, the brakes didn't work. The handbrake works fine, but the hydraulic side of things, there's no fluid in it whatsoever, so I suspect that these slave cylinders are buggered. All the pipes, I'll probably replace all the pipes and put proper ones, because they're all fairly corroded, the metal ones. Then that there's the adjustment thing, so I'm going to have a look at the workshop manual and have a look at the adjustments and everything and go through that, because I don't really want to pull the reductions off just to check brake linings. Because the handbrake was good and solid, I'm assuming that the brake linings are good. So apart from the brakes, I've gone through the various linkages and bits and bobs to make sure it's all free while the cab's off, and this double acting spool, that was seized, and this valve here, that was seized, so I've got that working. I've had all the grease nipples out and cleaned them and made sure they're working. There's just the pickup hitch needs, someone's disconnected it at some stage, that chain's off, and it needs another one of these brackets this side, and that should be all okay then, because someone just bolted it up, but the hooks are there and it is working properly. So yeah, it all just needs adjusting and going through. Then this hydraulic bracket, someone's put this in, so you can have a choice of the old style or the current, well, the quick connector one. And this pipe comes from the three-way valve down there, and that should be in the bottom. But someone's cut the bracket to make that bracket and moved the two double acting spools down, so I need to get another bracket, and someone's brazed this joint here, so you can just, the pipe and everything's good, so I'm going to take it off there, get another bracket with the correct spool in it, the correct coupling, and then move it back underneath this arm, because you can see where it's been rubbing on there, and it should be underneath, and then that's why that's angled there, because it angles up into the bottom one. And that's about it for the back end, otherwise it's all good. So it's mainly just the literally just the engine and that front axle, and that's it really mechanically, and just the cosmetics then. And then the cab, that's outside. It looks a lot worse than it actually is. The worst bit of it is this wing. It's quite pitted and there is holes in it, so probably we'll look at getting another wing. I could potentially repair it, but it is quite thin on the top there and hold here. But the roof is, well, I can't really do anything with the roof because someone at some stage has put this piece of tin over where the sunroof should be, because inside it is completely rotted through. So where it should have that lip like that side, it's just completely gone. So the roof, I can't really do anything with that, so I'll have to get another one. And then it's just the threshold, the steps, the thresholds where the water's got in. You can cut these out and get the replacement bit to put in here, but that bit will have to be just a little bit put on there. Door bottoms, this door isn't bad, it's quite solid actually, but the left hand door is gone on the bottom. Open it. Yeah, left-hand door has gone on the bottom. Yeah, it's something. There's still something there to fabricate some repairs. Yeah, so I'll strip once the engine and everything's all done. We'll strip it down completely, shot blast it all, and just go through everything in the cab. The seat's still got the original seat, which is still got all the armrests and everything on it, so it's literally just the cushions, and you can still get cushions. Then it will need a lining, a cab fender lining kit. Glass wise, it's all got the glass in it, but it does need the window handles because they are broken, and it does need a hinge repair kit for that side because it's broken off. Yeah, so that's, and then just go through the control levers because the hydraulic control lever thing over here, they're all seized up, so that will need going through and seizing. Yeah, and that's it really, and it's just a matter of painting it all up. Yeah, the tin work wise, that's over in the corner of the shed. That's all good, it's all straight. It had a nose cone guard on it, so that's been kept straight. So originally when I saw that nose guard, I thought it might have a loader on it, but where the loader brackets would be, still got the plugs in it, and behind the plugs is paint, so it hasn't a loader on it, so it's literally just yeah, been a yard tractor, I think, because judging by the wear on the steering here and the way the front tyres are worn, this one's worn very tapered. This is actually a proper David Brown rim, wide rim, and that side's just got the standard rim on it, and yeah, see how badly they've worn. I think it has just been used in the yard because under the back end before it was all cleaned was a lot of muck and straw and stuff, so I reckon it's been a yard tractor somewhere on a feeder wagon or a straw chopper or something like that. Yeah, and the condition of the back wheels, well, they're sort of starting to rust out like that. I think they've just been coated in muck a lot. Yeah, and it's got a pickup hitch as well, because the pickup hitch that unbolts, and you can put a normal drawbar in there, and the pin where it sits on is back there. That's where it goes. So you slot it in at that angle, and it just goes up, and put a pin in there, and it sits in here, another pin in there. And this pickup hitch, it does have the second bit which is in the cab, which bolts on here for it to go up against. Yeah, so that's where I'm at the minute. So yeah, so the next step is to send the engine, the block and the crank over to get machined, and then get it back and start rebuilding it up. And in the meantime, while that's away, I can get all the parts over here which will come off the engine all cleaned up and ready for rebuilding, and just go through pipes and make sure pipes are all okay. The fuel pipe, this is the link pipe which goes between the two tanks, and I'm surprised they weren't leaking, because they are really badly split and very, very soft, so they'll be getting replaced. Yeah, so that's where I'm at.